help our customers create food experiences that do good, feel good for everyone, for the body, for the mind, and for the planet as well. And just to expand on what I mean by this is, we have a very elaborate portfolio of taste and well-being, where we, cut across and have offerings across all the segments that you can think of. And we have a portfolio which has three pillars on which we work. The one is the feel good experience. The feel good food experience is all about the taste, the flavors, the richness, etc. The other is sense. So before, even if you eat a good food, obviously you eat it almost 50% of it by viewing it. So it should look good, the texture should be good, etc. So the feel good experience is the major factor that drives everybody's experiences in food, apart from the flavors. Then you have the does good experience. Obviously, after you eat the food, it should do good to you as well. It should be healthy, and we have a lot of our solutions across the nutrition and health platform. And then we have the imagine food experiences. Obviously, the feel and the does also looks at innovation, and we have tools and programs and bespoke products that are available for our customers, and we are here to co-create food experiences that our customers and we can imagine together and we can deliver. And to obviously enable all of these, you have the innovation, digital, regulatory, operational platform. We do invest a lot on consumer understanding, and also one of the biggest pillars that we run after is sustainability, because we are there in the game for the long term. Coming back to all proteins or the plant-based proteins, the plant-based proteins probably in the last couple of years have gained a lot of prominence, that it is one of the solutions for the planet. But we have been starting our work almost 5, 6, 7 years now back. We started in 2015, where we knew that something of this sort may gain traction in the future. And 2016 we were almost ready with our maskers, and then we had a consortium. We had 2017 onwards, we have been participating in a lot of challenges, and we have been developing products, and we are now have a complete understanding of the entire plant protein ecosystem, and where to play and where not to play, and what are those factors that affect. One of the major factors that I feel from the plant protein sector, the major expectation is that the product should be complete and should be good enough. It should look good, it should taste good, it should feel good as well. Now let's look at what are those solution areas that we can look at when you're making a product. So obviously flavors plays a major role in mimicking the meat products, etc., and it gives you that authenticity, that taste. But that is not enough. It has to be combined with umami. It has to combine with masking. And obviously Indians are masala lovers, so the spices and seasonings may play a big role. And initially we know that a lot of these products will take a little bit of time to run in the market. Once they gain prominence, they run. So shelf life is also as important as the taste, and combine it with the fats, because the fattiness, the mouthfeel that comes from real meat has to be mimicked well to give that experience. So where there are various technologies available, high moisture extrusion, etc. But apart from that, we have also created Prime Lock, which was also awarded one of the best innovative products globally. It actually is a fat mimicker, and it gives you that authentic meat fat look, feel, and taste as well. Apart from that, obviously there is this culinary twists to every cuisine that India has, every 100 kilometers, the taste changes. So we have to have those chettinad chicken or maybe a butter chicken in the north. So the chicken itself, they taste different in different parts of the country. So you need to have those cooking cues and those vegetable formats and the color appearances, etc., which take it authentically towards the dish, while keeping in mind that you need to enjoy and experience a good dish without the guilt of having meats. So, based on this, I now invite Chef Ravindra, who can take us forward on how his journey has been in the plant protein space and what he thinks makes a good dish, and how flavors and other visuals and ingredients as well make a difference to the product. Ravi, you there?
Nirav. Thank you, Nirav. Am I audible?
Yes, thanks.
Right. Okay. Cool. Right, Nirav. Thank you. And I believe most of the things with regards to the capability per se, Nirav has already mentioned, touched upon those, at the outset. So I will be further deep diving into some of these specificities that are very critical to the plant protein space. So as you can see the slide, what are the basic, and talking about plant protein as a category. So and just, before I start, so just talking about my journey. So I have been a chef, so I wear multiple hats. So I have been a new product development guy. I am the application guy now. So, this is the requirement. I, shuffle as where the demand is. So hence, I have I had some experiences creating concepts for the brand, and before also in the previous organizations, wherein so the challenges that you come across, because you are mimicking something which is so created by nature, and it definitely is not an easy task. So there are some challenges, and in order to mimic those characteristics which is so intrinsic to it. So the meatiness profile, the characteristic fattiness, which is also the technical term for it, is called marbling in the meat. The interspread of fat within the meat cells. And there are manufacturers and the growers and the people who are into the livestock farming. They have specific emphasis on having better marbling within the meat, in order to deliver experience. So in those all domains, so they all come together to create a very holistic experience. So hence, so these are some of the key characteristics, and these are also, if not addressed, they can be the barriers also, for this particular category. Nirav, if you can move the slide. Right. So in order to bridge those gaps, so what are the solutions that we have? I'm sure the previous panelists, the fellow panelists, have already touched upon this, and I will be again further focusing on them, because they are the uh, uh, key variables to it. So the first is masking. So hence there are very key uh, raw materials that are very key to the entire category, which forms the base of this category. So which are soy, pea, and there are the lentil tools, and every day it's evolving. It's a work in progress. Every now and then we see there is a new introduction of a new raw material palette, which creates a further, which is mung beans, which are so many other things, and hence they come with their own characteristic, nuances, and in order for them not to be a hindrance to the category while also add value to the entire proposition, they have to be masked with their the additional notes that they carry in order to deliver the more meat like eating experience. And so hence we have the very effective tools for it, and they have been tested and tried, and they are getting well leveraged in the industry. And next comes the major, which is the improved meaty taste. And because that is very key, because this entire category, these are all recreational kind of category, which until unless you deliver on the experience part, you will not have repeat buys or repeat purchases, because consumer will not be coming back to it. And hence you have to, it's very key for us to deliver on all the top notes. So we have the very and it's already proven and tested and tried, they are performing really well. So we have the chicken notes, and there are in chicken we have got different culinary Q notes to it. We have the roasted, we have boiled, and we have the different kind of barbecue notes. So which, as Professor Uday was mentioning about, so the meat when they get cooked, there are different characters that evolve in them during the cooking process, and hence the amalgamation of all these flavors into the product category is very important, very vital for the to deliver a very natural eating experience. So we have all those tools. So now quickly moving on to the third the expertise that we have is on the succulence. So the fatty mouth feel, the richness, that delivers that it should not have the dry mouth feel. So we have the fat blocks and the tools is necessary for it. And then the culinary notes, yes, we are spoiled for choice as a country when it comes to the culinary preparations that we have. We are unlike any other country, I would say, in my culinary journey. The kind of variations that we have in culinary per se as a country, and hence in a way the brain craves for a non-veg dish, but subconsciously you're craving for the experience that you have along with the medley of spices that come together and the cooking cues that generated together. And hence the cooking cues play a very vital role. The tandoori notes, the kebab notes, so they create happy memories, associate it to your particular dish. So hence, all those tools are there. We have the cooking cues and the umami. So umami again a very a building block for the other flavors to come through and perform on this platform. So that is there. And yes, Nirav, can we move on to the next slide, please? Yes, again, as I told you, so we have quickly not consuming much time here. So masking of notes are there, culinary notes. We have textural capabilities, and we have application knowledge because there are a lot of collaboration globally also that we do. We have got some protein innovation centers that has been established in Singapore and Zurich, where we collaborate with some of the very marquee extruder manufacturers who help us create new technologies like HMME, which is high moisture meat extrusion. So, and then there is taste sensations where all the tools come in handy in order to create a very holistic and fulfilling experience. Next slide, Nirav. Yes. Now this is another capability that we have. So as we all know, our food is very colorful. We cannot pinpoint a particular color palette when it comes to Indian food. So our butter chicken looks like something, the chettinad chicken looks like something. So the beef patty looks like something, the tandoori chicken looks like something. So in order to create the right eating experience and the visual appeal that it deserves, we have a lot of color palette to choose from in order to create the right impact as a visual per se, and then from an organoleptic standpoint. I think that is the kind of capability in a nutshell from Givaudan as a organization. And I thank you for giving us the opportunity to present it in this very August forum. Thank you.
Thank you. So apologies, we lost some audience because of the switchover. We still have about 70 people, and I bring Siddharth from Vegelution, and immediately thereafter Sunil. Siddharth.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everybody. Nice to speak to all of you. I will be brief. Let's not pull up a slide so I can, maybe gain some time here for others. So we launched a brand called Hello Tempeh, which is a brand that we launched about a year and a half ago, about 20 months ago to be exact. Fundamentally, our premise, we have the slide. Fundamentally, our premise is quite different, fundamentally from, say, plant-based meat or plant-based dairy. We started the organization to cater to people who wanted more protein in their day-to-day diet. And this is most lacking amongst people who eat a predominantly vegetarian diet, which is still a very large portion of the country. Despite having 70% non-vegetarians, a lot of the meal moments are actually vegetarian. And so our goal was to position ourselves for vegetarians, but as luck would have it, 20% of our consumers are avid non-vegetarians as well that want more choice. So for us, we were trying to fill in a katori on the plate that was lacking protein in every meal. And the product that we chose was tempeh, which is a fermented soybean natural product. So it's a 3-ingredient product. There's a little echoing, I'm not sure why. Okay, yeah, which is a fermented soybean product, which is made with 3 ingredients: soybeans, water, and a natural fermentation culture. And the reason we selected this was because we felt that it would have the most appeal for being a clean protein and a versatile protein, allowing people to sort of make it and take it to wherever they want. But considering we're talking about flavors, so our challenges and our opportunities are slightly different because we're not looking at biomimicry as sort of our end game. So we have 2 things we work at, hard, and I invite anybody that is in this panel or in the group here that feels that they have an opportunity to help us continue to get better, to please reach out to me, is the actual making of tempeh itself, right? We continue to improve the processes, the fermentation cycles, and the quality of the base tempeh we make. And much like any vegetable or things, there's going to be people that love the product, there's going to be people that like the product, and there's going to be people that don't like the product. Because it is a natural product. So there's people who like paneer, don't like paneer, like bangan, don't like bangan. And so for us, so far we're very thankful, and it's what we thought would happen is a vast majority of the consumers like to really like it. And of course, there is this great benefit of protein and gut-friendly protein that is a health benefit that also sort of helps them feel good about what they're eating. But what we did in addition to that was to actually create a whole bunch of seasonings for tempeh, which is not done as commonly anywhere, which is we've created a peri-peri tempeh, right? A chettinad tempeh, a sriracha tempeh, a Szechuan, a tawa masala. And the reason we sort of innovated in this direction, which wasn't happening anywhere in the world, it's happening a little bit now, is we said it's a new ingredient, people may not know how to cook it, people may not understand it. And one of the ways to drive adoption is that, hey, I don't know what tempeh is. I've heard it's rich in protein, but there's a tawa masala marinated cubes. Let me at least try that. How bad could it be, right? Like, tawa masala is pretty good. Or I prefer peri-peri, or I prefer Szechuan. So we really saw that enable some adoption. And what we basically fundamentally focus on is how do we improve the quality of our marinades on an ongoing basis so it pairs well with the umami of tempeh. And then how do we continue to make better and better quality tempeh with an umami that is much more and more acceptable to a larger and larger audience? And if both of those have continued to improve, will continue to improve as we scale up pan-India. And to us, that's been the interesting challenge, is how do we create more mass adaptability of a new ingredient that is ready to cook, that has health benefits. And what we've observed is the versatility of the ingredient being, you can crumble it, you can mash it, you can use it as cubes, you can use it as a potato and make kebabs with it or cutlets, you can use it as mince for a keema, or you can use it as cubes for a stir fry or a curry. So that's what we've seen has driven the most amount of adoption. And I think what we've also found is that we genuinely do not say that tempeh tastes like anything else. We genuinely just say, they go, what does tempeh taste like? I go, tempeh tastes like tempeh. And we just have to keep making better and better of it. So that's been sort of our, and we work with a marinade partner, and we try to continue to get better. So again, if there are folks on the call that think they could sort of associate with us to sort of experiment with the product to increase flavor, improve flavor, then we're all game. So thank you, Sanjay. I hope I've stuck to my time frame, and that's about it.
So thank you. It was great listening to you, Sid, and we all watched recently the amazing video which was there. I think you had released it on the social media, and we talked about amazing good qualities, the nutritional value of tempeh, and very happy to now make a switch to to a new food for us. But I've tasted your dip was amazing, and it was nice seeing the celebrity chef Ranveer Brar on your videos, on your commercials. Thank you, and wish you good luck. So now, requesting Sumit from Novozymes, Dr. Sumit Kaur.
Thank you, Sanjay, and congrats for the completion for your 1 year anniversary from Novozymes, you and your team. And that's
I
what.
can't see
Yeah.
you. I can't see
Okay,
you.
I have
Can
to
you
switch
please
on.
switch on?
Yes,
Yeah,
sure,
that would
sure,
be
sure.
nice.
Can you see me now?
Of course.
Okay, so congratulations to the whole team, and a great. We are very thankful to invite for like Novozymes. You have invited us in this platform, and as what we have seen from from the previous teams to the now Google, there is a change, and we have to adapt to the change, and that is what is happening from the past few years, from the conventional foods and more towards the healthier options. Okay, so okay, I have to share my screen. Mm. Please let me know once you see my slides, okay? Can you see me? Okay. Can you see them?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. So, when talking about the plant-based foods, whether it is a flavor or improving any other quality, viscosity, or the removing the grittiness because of which is provided by the high protein product, high protein as an ingredient which we use. So there is a very important thing is the taste, is the flavor, which helps you in getting the repeat customers, in getting your product established into the market, and that is where the different biological solutions comes into the picture. And these biological solutions, like you all know, Novozymes is a market leader in the enzymes, and its headquarter is in DK in Denmark. And right now, we are working on the different aspects on the health, on the various healthier choices and the traditional products, conventional products, and the future food products as well. So, talking about the enzymes are nothing we all know is they are basically the proteins. They act as a catalyst, and they are quite specific in their action. So that is where the key is there, which is in our hands. Okay, so if we want to modulate some flavor, whether we want it to whether we want it into the mild or whether we want it to the intense form so that the dosage will be less or the cost saving is there, something like that. So keeping the claims of same clean label, biological solution, cost effectiveness can also be achieved. So that is what we can play with the enzymes, and that kind of control is in our hand. So we can, if you see, we can predict the processing. Okay, and moreover, when there are different kinds of the enzymes are there, cellulases, proteases, lipases, and all. So tailoring about the savory profiles, savory ingredients like the umami or through the yeast extract, like many of the speakers have already touched them, so it has made much easier for me. So it is quite flexible, that's what. So what I in the next slide you will see how we can play with the enzymes in getting that kind of product. And apart from that, the economic flexibility is there. And when we compare with the traditional methods, suppose if we are working with this acid based HVP, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, it is basically made with different kind of the chemicals like HCl. It is neutralized with the sodium hydroxide. So there is sustainability is a big issue. Second thing, there are some components which are formed, which are quite carcinogenic. Those are 3-MCPD, and it is not tailor made. It is not. It cannot be customized. So that is where enzymes can come and play a very important role over there. So going through that yeast extract, if you have seen the soups, the behind the ingredient list in the soups of the Nor and any other, you will find the yeast extract over there. And for a common person who is not too much through the food technology background and away from this industry, for them yeast extract is like what it is. It is not the same thing which I use in my daily life, but still yeast extract plays a very important role in getting the umami flavor. Okay, and it can be used, it can also be tailor made from by using the yeast cream or various other sources also. And if you see the bar graph, the chart over here, it has manoproteins, glucans. So it is not only the proteases which can help, some sort of glucanases in the cellulases, it will also add on. So the basic point which I want to tell here is that apart from increasing the flavor profile, getting it tailor made, it also help us to retain some fiber component into the product. It also helps us in reducing the sodium content, which is very much into the FCCI purview now. Reduced sugar, reduced salt, all these things, such kind of biosolutions it will provide you. Similarly, coming to the umami flavor, this is basically for the EHVP, enzymatically hydrolyzed vegetable protein. So here the substrate can be pea protein, soy protein, fava protein, or any kind of plant-based protein. So you know very well each and every protein, they have something different. The amino acid profile is not the same, and that is what it brings different kind of bitterness, and that is why, like previous speakers have talked about the masking agents and all, and how we can remove that bitterness component from this protein during the processing itself, and that will help you to increase the savory note, the umami note. So if you see over here, the first, like the substrate, like what I have mentioned, soy. Yeah.
Sumit, I didn't see the slides moving.
Which slide you are in now? You can
No,
see now.
no, they are not moving at all.
They are not moving at all. And let me share again.
If you send it to me, I can share it for you.
No, it's there with you. I sent you today morning only.
By email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see now? Can you share, in fact? Is it visible?
Yes. Yeah, it's visible.
Oh, you are okay. So that's what I was talking about, how the enzymes can be tailor-made. Yeast extract I have already taken you through. Let me know if there is anything else you want to know, because I don't want to take up more time. It is already close to 1:30. So now coming to the umami flavor. So when we add some protease into the endoprotease basically to the raw protein as such, protein powder, it hydrolyzes it down into the smaller components, into the smaller chain peptides, and then another set of the protease we will add, which basically acts on the carboxy end and the amino end, and it will further hydrolyze it down to the amino acids. And if you see the green color dots here, green color dots are nothing but glutamine, and this glutamine is very much responsible for the umami flavor. And at this level of the amino acid, when we add this glutaminase enzyme, it basically converts into the more, makes it free and makes it to the savory boost. Okay, more towards the umaminess. Here I want to point it out also, when we hydrolyze the proteins, there is a degree of hydrolysis which needs to be optimized. It should be optimal for that particular product, for that particular substrate, soy, wheat, or a pea. Otherwise, it is not optimal. If it is very high, the bitterness note will be very high. And the bitterness note is higher when the hydrophobic amino acid, it is attached to the end of the peptide chain. But when it becomes amino acid with the help of the different proteases, that's where you will get the umami and the savory boost. So that is what, and it can be easily implemented into the various plant-based meat analogs, and that's what we are also doing the same. Now coming over how enzymes can help into the plant-based dairy also. So here we can use different enzymes, different classes of the enzymes, which will help you in the either in the liquefaction, and they will break down from the starch to the smaller molecules like dextrins, amylopectin, and the other smaller components.
Manoj Pathak, can you please mute yourself?
Okay, so it will break it down to the smaller components, and that is where these smaller components, they have their own sweetness index, and it will also help you to mask slightly beany note or some greeny note which you are getting from the oat or the barley based beverages. The second step is the saccharification. So from saccharification, if you see, we have the glucomylase, some other amylases are also there. Maltogenic amylase is also there, where in the glucomylase you will get glucose with the highest sweetness index of around 0.69. There it means if the customer wants higher sweetness, you can go towards this kind of enzymes, which can be clean label, and you can tailor made also. If they want less sweetness, there is another maltogenic amylase, where the maltogenic, you can tailor it down. That's what whoever the picture is. So that is what you can do with different kinds of liquefaction enzymes, saccharification enzymes, and also when we talk about the plant-based products, whether it is the protein-based or some cellulase or the fiber-based, viscosity is the biggest hurdle in the processing also, and the throughput decreases. And what if we can keep the viscosity same by hydrolyzing the fiber component, the NSPs, non-starch polysaccharides, into more water-soluble phase, so that over a period of the shelf life, the products remains the same. This helps very nice. We have seen very good examples in the shelf life, also in the plant-based yogurts, in the plant-based cheese or the cheese and the flavors and the spreads also. The viscosity reduction, it will remains the same. You will not get some kind of lumps over there. And then the protein hydrolysis at the end. Protein hydrolysis also plays a very important role, just like what I have shown you in the umaminess. But it also changes on the positive side, the flavor profiles. When in the plant-based, because the lipids are also there, we can add the lipases also for making the spreads. And similarly, the proteases here also. And this is that's ends with the presentation. And this is the last slide, where I want to say, uh, with the help of enzymes or the biological solutions.
Sorry, Sumit, the slides have not moved at all. It's only stuck up on second number slide.
I don't know why it is happening. Second number.
I think now one.
I think Sanjay is moving the slides, right?
But she has ended the presentation.
Let me see. I can see.
No, but here it is. Many people have put in the chat also.
Okay. So that's all from the cleaner label side, the enzymatic solution side, where we can play either in the plant-based category, dairy category, umami flavor, yeast extract, and also improving the viscosity profiles and getting, by the use of the lipases, getting the most very nice fatty acid flavors for decreasing the dosage and the cost in use. That's all from my side. Please let me know if there is anything, and you can contact me for any other, like if you need any help in the enzymatic solutions.
Can you show the third, fourth slides?
Sanjay, if you can share, that will be better. So Kajal, here I talked about the umami flavor, which we can make in the hydrolyzed vegetable protein, soy, gluten, and all. Okay, and we can tailor-made it by use of different proteases. We can top it up depending upon the various cellulases. That's what. So viscosity and the flavor, it can go hand in hand.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
Can these enzymes be used in cosmetics also, along with plant proteins?
But basically these are the food grade enzymes. Yeah. But I want to understand why you want to use the enzyme for the umaminess in the personal products, cosmetics.
It's for the skincare.
Okay, for the hydrolyzed protein, yes, it can be used. Yes.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, because the better absorption will be there. Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
For moisturizing and all these things, it can be used.
Yes, correct.
Because under cosmetics, this also we are trying to use all plant-based proteins and enzymes.
Correct. You know? Yeah. If you see this collagen boosters, what we have in the market, or the collagen builder, what we have, they all have all these protein hydrolysates for the better hydration.
Correct.
So there the motive is different. There we are not going to use glutaminase, okay? There we are going to use endo and exoprotease.
Correct.
And we do have exoprotease, which will help you to mask the bitter flavor.
Okay. If you could send me the details, would be great. Or if you could tell me where I can connect you.
We'll connect you, Kajal. You drop me in the chat box your number or email. Or email also I will share. So
Sanjay has my number. Sanjay has my number.
Okay.
I'll still drop it.
Okay, Kajal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Nice presentation.
Thank you. If there is anything, please let me know. And thanks, Sanjay, for coordinating and the whole team. I'll be logging out now because I have to rush somewhere. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sumit. And now,
Thanks, Sumit.
Can I request Dr. Kavita Bhatnagar to complete her presentation? Kavita, you are there?
Yes, Sanjay, thank you. Thanks, everyone. And it was indeed a great presentation with Dr. Sumit. lots of learning, and all the panelists, Chef Ravindra, also touched upon many points. So I'll not take much time. I think I'll quickly run you through what I have.
I've already put your presentation.
Okay. Yeah, so before we begin, I would just like to tell everyone that besides being a food scientist, I'm a social scientist as well. I'm a behavioral psychologist, so I will kind of try to give a different take to the flavoring challenge that we are all experiencing now. So we would like to believe that what we are trying to create, if you could just quickly move to the next slide, Sanjay, what we are trying to create is something which tastes like the real thing. A meat, a product which is an analog, but it tastes like real thing. But I would just like everyone, each one of us, to just pause and investigate. Is it so? Especially in the Indian story, is it what we are trying to match? So if we look at the Indian population, the consumption, that the target audience of our product, I mentioned on the next slide, who are those people? They are either vegetarians, vegans, people who are transitioning from consuming non-vegetarian products to vegetarian products, and then the meat eaters. Then what is the India part of the flavor puzzle that we are trying to solve? And why we can't and shouldn't obsess with what has worked elsewhere? So if we see, in India, we are obsessed with flavors which are more on the tandoori side, more on the smoky and barbecues. Having said that, I am not trying to belittle the problems, the challenges that we have in masking the flavors of these plant-based meat products. But we have an opportunity here in India because we do not have to exactly emulate the taste of the raw meat. If you could just quickly move on to the next slide, Sanjay. Yeah, the next, please. So there are still some hurdles. We have to mask the plant-based, the off notes. We have to be cognizant of how the flavors, they interact with the other ingredients. And even when the product is produced, the story doesn't end there. Once it reaches the end customer, it has to get at a secondary stage of processing, whether it is grilling, frying, baking, how the flavor is going to behave there. So these are all very real hurdles, and I'm very happy that all the flavor houses, all the enzyme people, they're all doing in one way or the other. Even we have done a lot of work on them. We have been able to successfully deliver these projects. But why is it that flavoring plant protein products is so hard? So the plant proteins, they have got intrinsic and extrinsic off-taste constituents. The processing, the storage, at every stage, the flavor experiences some degradation. Even if you mask it, the intrinsic constituents, the astringent, bitter flavors, even if you mask them, then during the processing, some losses are inevitable. So how do you scale it up? So we have to kind of go 10 steps behind if we want to deliver something which is optimal. So it's a two-step process. First of all, this is one slide back, please. First of all, we have to create a clear slate. That is by masking, by taste modulation. Once everything is masked off, then we kind of think of giving the direction. That's the second step. By saying direction, whether if it is an all dairy product, whether we want to provide creamy notes, whether it is cooked notes, so which notes have to be optimized, which have to be diminished, all of that is, I would say, flavoring a product is an art which is informed by science. So, and this can only happen with a co-creation. And at Kanegrade, we take a balanced approach, a holistic approach. If you could quickly move on to the third slide, next slide, please, Sanjay. The systems approach that I'm talking about. So when a customer and an inquiry comes to us, we actually sit down and take a holistic approach towards what exactly the notes are to be masked, what is the source of protein, and what is the expectation of the end customer. So it has to be dealt with empathy, not only for the customer, but the customer's customer as well, the end consumer. So what are the flavors we are trying to pair it with? What are the other ingredients? Can we leverage some of the top notes of the ingredients rather than over flavoring it? So these are some of the questions which need to be considered before we actually start prescribing any of the flavor masking or taste masking thing, because the consumer is now obsessed with the clean label. So if something can be done with a spice, there is no need to add any flavor. So these are the three key drivers, and we need to take an integrative transdisciplinary approach towards flavoring of these products. And at Kanegrade, I'll just to take to the last slide, we have food technologists, microbiologists, food engineers. Just one slide ahead. We have got nutritionists, market researchers, psychologists. We have a team, a holistic team, which help the customer take a balanced approach so that we do not end up over flavoring or over processing or hyper processing the product, which in the beginning Indira had rightly highlighted that is the buzzword right now. There is a lot of fire. There has come out a lot of fire about for being hyper processed. So we need to be very mindful, minimize the use of flavors, and yet make it as clean as possible, and not to not to fail the consumer in terms of taste, because in the end, taste is what keeps the customer coming back. So I leave you with this thought. We cannot create a health halo around it, as the chef chef recently mentioned, that it's a recreational category. So it is a taste which matters, and as a responsible industry people, it's our duty to not allow over processing to take place, and to take a balanced approach, not over flavor it, and to use as much of as clean labels as possible. Small changes, whether or not to add a flavor prior to processing, at which stage to add, can a 10% decreased dosage actually make a difference? All of these things can actually make a huge difference. That's all I have to say. And thank you once again, everyone, for the patience. Thanks, Sanjay, for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Kavita. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
And Saranya from 𝐒𝐸𝐿. So, Soni and Ruth. Norex team. Okay, Ruth. Ruth is there. Ruth, you're on the mute. Okay, please continue. I can hear it. So Ruth Renita from Shakari, our 100th member.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Ruth.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay. Hello everyone, and I would like to congratulate the team for the 1 year anniversary. And I'll quickly proceed to the presentation. I hope the presentation is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah, hi. So just to give a small note on the company. So the company we started our operations last year, and we operate in the branding of Shakahari, but our company's name is Liberate Foods, and we are headquartered in Bangalore. We have frozen portfolio product ranges in currently, wherein we have snacks like samosa, nuggets, and we have meal accompaniments like keema, kebabs, and we have the meal options like parathas, like chicken paratha, mutton paratha, the burgers, and various other products in the same range. And right now we are present in 11 cities across India through various channels like the retail D2C and HoReCa segments. So, and this is a small outlet that we opened in Bangalore outlet just as an experience center for the people to try out the product. So coming to the plant-based meat, how we look at the plant-based meat. So plant-based meat are the ingredients that is derived directly from the plants. So we say instead of relying on animals, sorry. Yeah. So we say instead of relying on animals to convert the protein, so we say plant is an easier option of consuming the protein. So that is a more efficient way of consuming the protein. So like animal-based products, even plant-based has protein, fat, minerals, but in a different composition. But it is composed of those basic elements. So what we have seen the consumers, when we interact with the consumers, who are mainly, when we say the non-vegetarians are our target consumers. So when we interacted with our consumers, what we have found is that the taste and texture of the meat is highly valued by the consumers, and that is the most accepting. If the consumer wants to accept the plant-based meat, then they want the taste and texture and the overall product characteristics to be similar to that of the animal meat. So the willingness to pay for the plant-based meat product also increases the moment the product is more closer to the meat. So how we approach in the product development of our products is like we select the sources, like we have pea, soya, wheat. We select the protein sources in such a way that these protein sources have inherent off flavors, like this aldehydes, ketones, furans, which are the secondary metabolites that the plant produces. So these have a very bitter components, or a like beanie component or grassy component, which is very inherent to the product. So when we select the RM, so we make sure that we select the best RM, the best quality RM, so that these beanie notes and these off flavors are the least. And on top of that, we add the masking agents. So these masking agents may not fit, one masking agent may not fit all the applications. Like for pea, it might be different. For soya, it might be different. But we do all the trials and errors, and we select the masking agent based on the final application that we want to go ahead. So base is the RM, and then on top of that is the masking, and on top of that is when we build the meat flavor. So meat flavor, like flavor, as you know, is a function of odor and taste. So meat has this volatile flavors like alcohols, aldehydes, ketones, which when it interacts with the heat, it produces that characteristic meaty flavor in the animal meat. So there are these free amino acids and ribose, which is a sugar, so which interacts, and through Maillard reaction, it produces a characteristic meaty note. And there is like even so when we say lipid oxidation, so the lipid composition in different animal products, like for chicken, for beef, for lamb, the lipid composition is entirely different. So depending on this lipid composition, even the flavor development that happens when the heating and the Maillard reaction as a combined reaction, when it happens, so the flavor development is very different. So what we do is like we take help of some of the products that is available in the market. One is the yeast extract. So yeast extract is directly derived from the yeast cells, that is the Saccharomyces, and which is high in L-glutamic acid and nucleotides, peptides, which are the same components that is present in the meat flavors. The meat, the flavors which gives the meatiness to the product. So, and then these yeast extract also, they heat it, so the amino acids and the nucleotides and all of that, it interacts with each other. The flavor precursors interacts with each other, and it gives the very a characteristic meaty note to the product when we add. And we have this HVPs also that we use that for, HVPs by two. One is enzymatic and one is acid hydrolysis. Enzymatic HVP is a much lighter lighter HVP, and acid hydrolysis gives a much darker brownish HVP. So the protein, the longer chain proteins is converted into smaller peptides and amino acids, and then the sugars present in it, because of Maillard reaction, it gives a characteristic note. So we are very strong on the flavor notes. If our products, if you taste it, is very strong on the flavor notes. So when we say flavor notes, we have in-house scientists who works on the flavors for these products and who develop these flavor molecules, which is like the individual flavor molecules is extracted from different sources, and it is combined in a particular ratio and percentages, so that the final product is as close to the actual meat as possible. And the flavor notes also gives the mouthfeel of creaminess, the richness, and all of that. So, and the last step after that is the culinary on top of it, culinary application, wherein we use the spices, the seasonings, the condiments, the fat, which is the fat is a major carrier of the flavor, the moisture for that succulence, and all of these components added together, we develop the final products. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Very happy to see this presentation full loaded with the practical experience of launching Shakahari. And before Norex comes, may I invite Saranya from Saimega?
Yeah, Sanjay, give me a few seconds.
Yes,
Can
sure.
I present my slide? Can I present my slide?
Yes, but you sent it to me, right?
Yes, today morning.
I'll just pull it out by email, right?
Yeah, good afternoon all. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so congrats to PBFIA for completing the first anniversary. And we are very happy because you take the entire plant-based food to the next level. So you give lots of knowledge to the consumers as well as the FBOs. So to talk more about Simega, so we started in 2006 as a seasoning company. Then we expanded to different ingredients. So then we thought, no, because Simega always known as an ingredient supplier, why don't we start our own manufacturing facility, especially for plant-based food? So there, because we can take the protein isolate from our parent companies in diet, then we can utilize the seasoning from our own divisions, colors, flavors, etc. And being from Kerala, we have lots of opportunities for sourcing different ingredients like jackfruit, and spices, etc. So on the plant-based food division, we started this division, especially started with the R&D center, which is known as the Mega Protein Innovation Center in 2020. And then by 2022, we started our own manufacturing a 100% vegan line where we can manufacture plant-based formed products. So regarding the flavors, so when you take flavors, Sanjay ji, are you able to get my presentation?
No, I'm not able to search.
Yeah, okay, fine. So regarding the flavors, actually, it's majorly, when we read through the word or the terminology flavor, we just think it's just a top note. But it's not just that. It's the combination of texture, the combination of odor, it's the combination of taste altogether. So on the flavor side, so when you take individual characteristics, so when you take the texture of meat, so normally the non-vegetarian or the meat, the protein support with the texture after cooking. At the same time, for plant-based food, the texture, we are mimicking the texture using different starches, which is mostly by gelatinization rather than protein coagulation. Because most of the proteins, especially plant-based protein, doesn't have the functionality of coagulating like the meat protein. At the same time, take milk or any dairy where we have this magic ingredient called casein, which does all this functional effect. Like, the coagulation or the curdling, all is done by this casein. But when we take the dairy alternative or a milk alternative where we are playing with the plant-based proteins like soy, pea or almond, which doesn't have this kind of functional effect. So there also we are playing with different additives like emulsifiers, stabilizers to mimic the casein functionality in a plant-based dairy alternative. The easiest factor is the odor. So where we have natural, niche identical or artificial flavors which impacts the meat kind or the dairy kind of top note to the different products. The other one is on the especially on the texture, especially the cheese. The after perception. So they call the stickiness or the stinginess of these all actually we are mimicking, especially the plant-based industry is mimicking using different ingredients. So Sanjay ji, any way that you give the presentation?
No, we don't have it.
Yeah, okay. So that's majorly on the flavor. So at 𝐒𝐚EMEGA, so we use flavoring substance from across world, from different flavoring houses, our own flavors. We use reaction flavors and different ingredients like that. And for texture, we use the proteins majorly to give the meaty kind of one, or protein isolates to give the and fibers for the dairy products. And then you take the taste, which is majorly comes from flavor as well as the seasoning, which is comes from the spices altogether. So that's how we deal the development. As I suggested, as I told, the 𝐒𝐚EMEGA Protein Innovation Center at Cochin does all the R&D works for the newcomers who wants to launch plant-based food in India or abroad. We does domestic sales as well as export for all kind of plant-based food. So we have 9 technologists and 1 chef who develop different kind of products. It can be either molded products, the meat alternatives, or dairy alternatives, where we have solutions for making milk from rice, milk from oats, milk from millets. 𝐒𝐚EMEGA supplies ingredients to manufacture this kind of product, along with the functional ingredients that will mimic the taste, texture, color of the beverages that of the customer need. So that's all I want to talk here.
So I finally pulled out your presentation. Maybe you can continue, Saranya, a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'll be able to show it now. Can you see?
Yes. Yeah, so you can go to the next slide. So these are the different categories where 𝐒𝐚EMEGA works as an ingredient supplier, like a seasoning blends, natural colors, flavors, culinary products like mayonnaise, and specialty food. Specialty food is the 5th division which we started, under which we are manufacturing and doing R&D work for the plant-based food. So this is why 𝐒𝐚EMEGA enters into this division, as I told you, because we have the backward integration on the ingredients part. So that's why we are like a single stop for the final clients for the R&D work as well as the commercial manufacturing. These are the different categories of products where we does the R&D work as well as the commercial production using the different ingredients available worldwide. So it can be a meat alternative, a egg alternative, milk alternative, and cheese alternatives. So these are the different products which we are making. So if you see the texture, all the textures of individual products, actually we are doing different works to get, the chicken alternative needs to have a very soft fibrous texture, whereas beef alternative needs very stringy and hard bite, elastic bite. So this is the infrastructure which we have in Cochin, where we can manufacture 100 metric tons of formed products on monthly basis. And this is a 100% vegan line as well. Yeah, so I think so. This is the old presentation which we sent for the last one. So I think that's all I covered here. So those who wants to those who are looking for a manufacturing facility which is 100% vegan, you can approach 𝐒𝐚EMEGA. I think Sanjay ji has our contact number.
Thank you so much, Saranya, and appreciate your patience. And we still have 40 members above, so Norex team can Now again coming, because there are 2-3 slides. I think 3 slides were shortened. So Prashi, you would like to speak?
Yeah. Yes, Sanjay. So I would like to introduce Prachi. She is a application technologist with Norex and has immense knowledge in the applications and in this plant-based products. So Prachi, may I invite you to carry on, please?
Yes, sir. Good morning, good afternoon to one and all. Hello, Sanjay sir. So after so many technical issues, Norris is back here to complete parcel. So, sir, can you please share the slides? Slide number 11.
Okay. I have to share?
Yes, sir. I have just sent a WhatsApp.
Okay. I will pull it out. Give me a moment, please.
Yes.
Start speaking in the meantime.
Yes, sir. Come to the next slide. So here is what Norris is offering for the plant-based meat segment, like the profiles which is required for the dairy, meaty profiles, and the complementary profiles that are savory profiles, such as like barbecue, smoke, umami, and tandoori. And then the bitter masker. These are the like journal also and specific for the specific protein. So next slide. Okay. So it's a very important, no, the last one. Okay. So it's very important achieving the right combination of flavor and the base. Flavor works with a perfect base. So first is balance of product base. Second, selection of flavor profile and use of masking solution. So next slide. So when we are working over a nutritional supplement, they can be contain a combination of plant-based protein or even a single protein. So these products may contain a taste maker like sweetener, salt, acid, thickening agent, and fibers. So out of like if we need, see, 100% masking is not possible, but we can get a successful rate like near about 60 to 70%. So like taste maker also play an important role as a base ingredient within the product to minimize the bitterness. Like sweeteners, they also used to minimize the bitterness. Even in fact, the thickening agent that contain a gum or a modified starch that form a coating layer in the mouth that minimize or slow down the release of flavor and taste from the pea protein from the food matrix that means it should be the minimizable level. So here we have the masking solutions and flavor. For example, like if some protein used to give a bitter profile, some used to give a earthly profile, some used to give a astringent or the sour off notes. So for the specific notes, we have a specific masking ingredient with us, and after masking, the product should be make up or top up with the flavor. So for example, like if it have a earthly note, so we can mask with a bitter masker, and the product is top up with the chocolate peanut butter. If like product is like having a bitter, so like it we can work like a synergistic effect. Bitterness of the protein plus a bitter side or the brown flavor, for example, like coffee. And using the caramel means it gives the soothingness, and then we are using a bitter masker. So like total overall flavor profile used to be worked. So please, last slide. Go to the last
Prashi,
slide.
Sorry, Prashi, please hide that line below.
Okay. Sir, please can you do this for me?
Next one.
No. This hiding. Stop sharing this hide. The icon was shared on the screen.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I think I stopped the share. But you know, some of these slides were already shared. You said
No,
11,
sir,
13, 14.
No, sir. This is the last slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. So the last one is for like when we are using a flavor in a plant-based meat. Again, we have to mask the plant-based. Then we have a flavor enhancer, salt, fat. It is never a single fat. because with the properties of protein, it used to change the texture. So it's like wonderful if we go with with a combination of fat, plant-based fat. Then the uses of fiber like hydrogenated vegetable proteins and the yeast extract. These having a meaty type profile, which itself like plant protein do not have any precursor that is responsible to give a meaty flavor. That's why we use an external ingredient that mimic or in means it will at a certain level it will help out for the flavor also to strengthen it. Like for example, if we are preparing any chicken nugget, so we can use a roasted chicken or a chicken flavor profile that will be give a meaty profile. And to strengthen that particular profile, we can use the umami. And for masking the bitter content or the bitter compound, we can use a bitter masker. And the culinary profile is used to give a proper touch from top to bottom to the product. It's like umaminess, it's magnify and lengthen the taste and the mouthfeel, which is really very important for the non-veg product after the texture. So next slide, please. Now, the multiple approach in the process modification. In the earlier slide, the people also tell that we don't need, you need to go through like so many processes. Otherwise, the use of the chemicals is increasing. Like we take a trial in the tofu while preparing with the soya milk. We use different kind of coagulating agent in order to get the different type of texture. Maybe the silken tofu, maybe the texturizer. So, like we have standardized certain processes like if we prepare a soybean milk only soaking, if we prepare soybean milk after soaking and go through the blanching. So like blanching for a particular time period, like for the 5 to 10 minutes, it help in destroying the anti-nutritional factors plus reducing the astringent and off taste that is created by the protein after the means after blanching they get denatured. So it will help in the colloidal stability also of the product. So here it was, it's not only and only we use bitter masker to mask the beanie note or any off taste. We give a little bit touch of a Indian profile also. Like when we are prepare the yogurt, so we have used bitter masker and Norix yogurt flavor to give and amplify the richness of creaminess with acidic notes. In the similar pattern, we prepare a soya milk and even the tofu, which give a taste of paneer with masking also. So please next slide. Like this is the role of fat as a flavor carrier. It's really very important because this fat, it having a multi-functional ingredient. It can be work as a flavor, texture and mouthfeel. It's a oligoester, a unique taste of fat. We can taste fat, but till now there is none of the person have discovered that what is their taste bud that used to accept the taste of fat. So maybe in future it will be act as a sixth taste bud. See, fat create a film on the palate, creating a condition where the flavors stay longer inside the mouth. It helps in the application part also, aeration in batter, flakiness in cookies, tenderness in cakes, and crispiness in chips. With a simple example, if we can taste a coffee with cream, it gives you a smoothness against a black coffee. And if you taste like a low fat ice cream or the high fat ice cream, if you are using cherry, kesar, or rose type flavor, they are like intense in when the fat content is low. Over the similar side, the vanilla, it gives the opposite effect. Means flavor act as a carrier. Like we used to doing like tampering and tadka, means adding any spices, condiments in a oil and give a heat to it. So the aroma is mixed with the fat, and from the fat it going to infuse into the food matrix, and when we chew it, so it release into our mouth and give the sensational view of wow, what a food it is. So it is what totally Norix is doing for like the mimic meat products, how to increase the strength in the within the meat product, how to mask the bitterness, what we are doing still now. Thank you so much, Sanjay sir, for means after so many hurdles to giving me a chance. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So it's a pleasure. So now I think we can open the house. So may I know who has the first question? can unmute yourself or send us the question.
Sanjay ji, this is Ratan Sharma from US Soybean Export Council. And
hi, Ratan.
Yeah, good to see you all. And it is really a very knowledgeable session. And so my question is, one of the speakers was talking on texturization standpoint, this pea protein is better than soya. So what, in my knowledge, what I know, people prefer soybeans or soya protein for the texturization purposes. So is there anyone, Dr. Annapure, or anyone who can answer this question?
Before somebody comes to answer this, I also have a question from you that I believe that US soybean also has a non-GMO food grade soybeans.
Yes,
so which is a premium price product.
Yes.
And something that the quality that our members have been asking, and one of the reasons that we have been importing soybean isolates from outside India, and but we are also consuming oil seeds, edible oils. So it will be great if we could, instead of importing oils and then the protein isolates, which is soy isolates separately, why not we get the soybean itself and crush the soybeans here and get that premium quality human grade soybeans, which we don't have here. We are only having the export grade animal feed soybean meal, and I would like to know your opinion there. But in the meantime, maybe Indra or Dr. Annapure or anybody else would like to answer on the extrusion, because what I heard so far was soybean has all the 9 essential amino acids. Neda, you want to say something on that? So all 3-4 of you can just have a little bit chat here.
Yeah, in terms of plant protein, yes, soya bean has been identified to be the closest in terms of amino acid profiling or the protein quality, which we generally say. If you see the PDCAS score, it is somewhere 0.9, so which says that it has the complete amino acid chain. But there are also soya bean, I think overall are also debated that they have some allergens in them, which cannot be much suitable for the consumption. Of course, there is an upper limit of how much the soya protein one should be consuming. There's an upper limit. I think 55 gram is the upper limit. That this like if you consume 55 grams of soya protein, you can well digest it. So there are a lot of debates on that area as well. So because of that, other novel ingredients are also identified. One is, of course, pea is being identified. Even they have a good amino acid profile. Since they come onto the category of pulse, they lack some amino acid, but we can complement it with other grains, so that you make with the combination, you can make it a complete protein.
Okay, thank you, Meda. You can also answer my question, Ratan.
Meda. First, thanks, Sanjay ji and Meda. But I would like to mention here that the PD cost value is one for soya. It is as good as milk protein and egg protein. And as you rightly mentioned about many other quality characteristics, considering all those things, but here I would like to just mention briefly on the allergen side. Because it is also soya is also included in the list of 14 allergens, but it has never been proved to be an allergen, in any of the medical history of any patient or anything. So it had some allergy, like milk had some allergies, dairy, nuts, and so it is like that only. But for some regions, it is still staying there. But if you see in North, in our Southeast Asia, which is the hub of soy milk and tofu production, and the tempeh as well. So their panel is trying to work to remove the soya from the list of allergens. So maybe which we can discuss later.
Nathan, can you switch on your video, please?
Oh.
And Dr. Anapure, you can come, or Indra.
Yeah. So and the other thing is, Sanjay, as you rightly asked about food specialty soybeans, here I would like to mention a few things. Like it's a long prevailing question, importing soybeans to India and crush it and make oil and meal. But it is not happening for two reasons. First thing is we don't have that much of non-GM. See, there are two separate categories. One is simple non-GM and other is non-GM food specialty soybeans. So non-GM soybeans are not available in that quantity to cater the need of our crush to make that much oil we need. We need around 5 million metric tons of soybean oil, which is presently consumed in this country. So, but that GM and non-GM is a different thing. But as you rightly mentioned that we have in US, we have different type of soybeans like which can be converted into milk, tempeh, tofu, and edamame, different kind of other products. So there is a product specific soybean varieties are there. Here we have only soybean which are mainly oil centric. But the import duty is very high, like it is 45%, and after GST and all that, it comes to 57%, which is economically not viable to convert into the products. So presently, Sanjay, for the information of the forum, I would like to mention that we have around 2,000 soya milk manufacturers here in India. They are into soya milk and tofu and different kind of other soy food products. So having more focus on the food specialty soybeans, these are mainly IP beans and grown in US, and so they have specific beans. Like if you want to produce non-beanie soybean naturally, so they have that kind of soybeans which is free from lipoxygenase and could produce soy milk absolutely free from any off flavor. Then whiteness of tofu, you can get that kind of beans which can give whiter color to the tofu. So, but these IP beans are little expensive. It is little higher value than their CBOT rate. So Sanjay, we can discuss it, in a forum, and
the
we can.
Food grade soybean is something that the consumer are able to afford because soybean continues to be the lowest price protein that we have. And I would like to know opinion of Dr. Anapure and Indra here as well. And also, I see Prerna Bajaj from Wesley, you are there. You have been using soybean in large quantity. Prerna, would you like to give us your experience? Why you are able to launch a product in 35 rupees, which is unthinkable. The lowest price plant-based food product in the country is coming from Wesley. And you have really made it possible for everybody to taste yummy plant-based food. So you have been using soybean more than pea. Can you tell us what is your experience and what is your customer asking, and why you are one of the largest companies in plant-based food sector in India?
Yeah, thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity, and congratulations to PBFIA for completing a year.
Congratulations to you. You're one of the founding members.
Thank you so much. So we are into the sector, as you know, since 2010, and we have been using soybean because this is one of the most innovative and the cheapest products we are finding. And this we have done a lot of research and development. And so after a lot of R&D and improvisation on our products and stuffs, we have launched chopsticks, as you know, is of 35 rupees and which is in great demand to the customers.
Yeah, Sanjay ji, they used US food beans also in the past.
Yes,
But,
yes, we
yeah.
I suspected that.
And we do constant improvisation in our products. That's why we are one of the pioneers in launching those products which are highly affordable to the customers as well as they are good in taste. And we have a lot of repeat orders and repeat customer clientage to join to our company, which is making our company grow much more. And of course, this year, 2023, we are going to set a benchmark, high profile benchmark that for all the others, that we can provide something to a nation which others can see and follow our path.
And what about the PDCAS value? As Medha was saying, is soybean, she was saying soybean PDCAS is more than P. Medha is a nutritionist. I don't want to challenge her, but she's part of our team. So I want to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can you say that again, sir?
The digestibility. Professor Anapure, are you there? Maybe Professor just stepped away from his desk. And Indra?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so you want to answer what Ratan Sharma was asking about the extrusion of soybean?
Yes. First I'll also...
You want him to ask the question again, in case you missed it?
Yeah.
Okay, Ratan, can you just briefly repeat your question?
Yeah. Which one is better in texturization, like soybean, soya protein, or the pea protein?
Yes. So in terms of texturization, we have different methods. So extrusion is the most common method available, and even if you in the market, soy is the most prevalent ingredient that is being used in plant-based meat specifically, and that is for a reason, because it has very good texturizing properties, and it also has this really suitable the protein has this really suitable melting point, which also enables it to denature in the barrel temperature and also restructure within as well. Like if you take a ℎ𝐸𝐸 line, for instance, and due to this exceptionally good fiberization process, it is widely used. But pea protein is also a really good ingredient. In PDCAS, I think Medha is right. Soybean has the highest PDCAS value. Pea protein slightly lags behind, but not much when compared to other protein sources. And also, if you take the major market players, like Impossible uses soy, but Beyond uses pea protein. So both are really great ingredients, and both have their own pros and also cons. It is really how we can try to improve them in various aspects. So I think Bhati was talking about how they found that pea protein can be made better using their solutions. So it all comes to various sort of collaborations and trying to improve the ultimate flavor of this base.
Thank you, Indra. Professor Uday Anapure?
Yeah, just wanted to just comment on the question asked by Dr. Ratan Sharma. It is what exactly, as mentioned by Indra, it's definitely the soy protein is the best candidate for texturization purpose, basically, as compared to pea protein. But if you look at the proteins, either it is a soy protein or pea protein, both are very good candidate for the texturization, and texturization is very much possible in pea protein also. Only other nutritional parameters are different, but as far as the texturization characterization is concerned, I can say that both can work properly, but soy is very well studied and very well practiced, whereas pea protein has not been studied that much at this moment. Therefore, we can't say anything about that. But as far as the technology is concerned, I feel both are equally good. That's what I just wanted to mention here.
Thanks, Professor Annapure. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, Sharmaji.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah. Hope all well. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Sethi sir, just one thing, as Medha very rightly raised about the PDCAS and all that, and she rightly said there is not much difference between 0.99 and 1. So, the PDCAS, is basically protein digestibility corrected amino acid score, which is a measure of protein quality. Okay, so this is measured in terms of various levels. So it's a bit technical thing which we will discuss later. But as far as soya protein is concerned, this is as good as meat protein. As egg protein and milk protein, and it is much better than cereals protein, which scores around 0.72. So I can see, like, my main concern is when talking to alternate proteins, people discard soya on the points based on like it's allergens issue and
well, not in India, because soybean is the most popular, not just in India, but all over the world when it comes to our industry. For us, soybean is on top.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay. So, who has the next question? Miloni, I don't have the answer to your question which you put. So please ask a different question. Miloni, go ahead.
All right, sure. Thank you so much. I don't have any other questions.
Yes, Miloni asked about the plant-based casein manufacturer. So if there is anybody, please do write in the chat box, or maybe if any of my team member knows, kindly forward. Narari, please connect with Miloni later. Sabu has just
Sanjay ji, one second. Casein is milk protein, so it can't come from the
the plant-based casein-like protein.
No, that's what this plant-based. That's what Dr. Ratna Sharma has pointed out correctly. It is milk-based, so it is a uniqueness in the milk. So casein cannot come from any other sources. Maybe you can we'll try to.
So, Professor, what we are doing, we are making vegan products and we are mimicking the exact properties of dairy ingredients. So we are trying to mimic that, and that's what we are trying to find out, that who has the ability to have those proteins, because people are finding out how to have absolutely dairy-like, let's say, cheese for pizza, like mozzarella cheese. So there are many things that we are trying to mimic, and that's why we are trying to find out that has somebody cracked that code, which you are saying is not yet cracked.
Yeah, you can definitely try different sources, but exactly getting the casein from the plant source is not possible. That's what
yes, casein-like.
Yeah.
So who has the next question? Sabu, I just saw you. Are you there? CP Sabu.
Sir, I have a query.
Yes, please.
Query is this, that when we make any typical non-veg dish, we use the normal khade masalas, onion, tomato gravies, and we prepare a non-veg dish. Now the flavor and the taste of the non-veg dish comes due to the non-veg. And also typically liquid which is prepared called bone broth. Now suppose I have to make a vegetarian gravy dish. I'm using the same khade masalas, Indian masalas. Everything is veg, but I don't have a bone broth. So the taste of my curry is going to be very different. So I'm looking for something on the flavoring which can mimic the bone broth.
So as you're saying that there are maybe hundreds and thousands of such volatile compounds, and by mimicking the top 7 to 8 or maybe 10 such compounds, we are able to cover 70 to 80% of the original aroma. So If you're saying that have we gone very, very close? Yes. If you're saying are we 100% we have been able to mimic? Not yet. So the science is getting there. Indra, you want to add anything over there?
Yes, sir. Like you rightly pointed out, fundamentally the composition of meat and plants are completely different. And that is exactly why when you cook meat, you get these end compounds, these volatile compounds, which in turn gives you this really good aroma and flavor, which you're not able to get when you use plant-based ingredients. But like Sir mentioned, we are trying to mimic the major part of it and not yet the complete like all the flavor compounds. We're not doing that yet. Another way to look at this problem is what if we can also tap into the biochemical pathways that many of the speakers today also mentioned, like Maillard reaction and other such Strecker degradation or other such biochemical pathways. For that, we'll have to identify the right kind of ingredient which has these precursors for these flavorants, so that this, when you put it through a process of heating or other chemical process, at the end you have the desired flavor. So this is another approach that you can try, but this is also something that is progressing. This is not quite there yet. So this will require extensive R&D, and that is something that our flavor companies are also doing. So this is just another thought that you can.
Yeah, I wanted to contact some of these flavoring companies with this inquiry, and if possible, then do some field trials.
Yeah. Bharti, can you answer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, hi, Gautam. This is Bharti. I'm working as the lead flavorist with Norix Flavors. So, your query, if I could understand, you need a brothy and that meaty profile in your plant-based, the gravy, right?
Correct.
So for that, first of all, we need to check with you whether it is a chicken broth or a beef broth or what kind of a base material
chicken or mutton. Chicken or mutton.
Okay. Chicken and mutton, so it is very simple. You can straight away use a chicken flavor or a mutton flavor into your curry. Okay, it will definitely lift the umami flavor of that curry, and it will give you that pleasant savory taste which we get from meat by eating a meat gravy. So I would suggest you to add natural or nature identical chicken and mutton flavors. We have a range of variety of, like Norix is doing all non-veg flavors. We have fish flavor, we have chicken flavor, we have mutton flavor, we have beef. Also, we have savory top notes, which you can use in your gravy to lift it to another level. And it will definitely mimic exactly same as meat gravy.
Wonderful. I will be in touch with you, Norix.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and Sanjay ji, is it possible to get the contacts of the speakers so that we can forward our inquiries?
Yes, we can. And my apologies to everybody. As you must have seen on the NDTV that today the Outlook team services were down in India, and Microsoft is trying to probe was it a sabotage or what, and it had to happen during our webinar. So Indra, you have to do one more time because the interest for this webinar is very high, and my heart goes out to those people, about 100 odd people who couldn't be brought to this channel, although one of us was still there to tell them that this is the link. So why they didn't come? Did they just log in and went away from their desk, or they just logged in and when team went down, it just showed that they are there, but actually they were not there, right? So we don't know what happened, and such a big calamity in Microsoft had to happen exactly during our webinar. So this makes our webinar memorable, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
but the serious ones are still sitting here, and I want to go and have lunch. So please request you that please exit. I want to have lunch. You also have
All
lunch.
right. All right. Thank you so much, Sanjay sir. Thank you so much, giving us this opportunity. Still, we have another winner for sure.
Yes, we are an amazing
All right.
people in this industry. I think energy is simply amazing. Ashish, hi, how are you? Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
And
Hello, everyone.
Sanjay ji, congratulations to you and your entire team on your one year anniversary.
Thank you.
A lot of hard work has gone in. We can all see that. Really, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.